Welcome back to the Exposure History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. A mom is selling her kids in Chicago back in 1948. She sits on the steps, face hidden behind one tired hand. Next to her, a sign reads, "For children for sale." Yeah, real kids. Not a prank, not a joke. They were broke. No money, no help, no way out. This was post-Depression America. Poverty still crushed families like hers. Neighbors walked by, shocked. Some people even showed interest. Reports say the children were actually sold, then separated. Gone to different homes, never reunited. That's the heartbreaking part. And get this, she had more kids after this moment. Desperate times led to unthinkable choices for struggling parents. This photo hits different once you know the story. That's Bonnie Haim with her little boy just before she vanished. She disappeared in 1993. No leads, no trace. But her 3-year-old son said something chilling. He told police, "Daddy hurt Mommy." He literally said his dad killed her. But no one believed a toddler. No arrest, nobody. The case went cold. Fast forward 20 years. That same boy, now grown, was renovating the backyard. He dug up human remains, his mom's skeleton, buried at their old home the whole time. Turns out, the kid was right all along. FBI agent Robert Hansen was hunting a mole inside the agency. But guess what? He was the mole the whole time. He'd been spying for the KGB since 1979. That's over 20 years of leaking top-secret intel. He gave up agents, missions, even U.S. defense secrets, all while pretending to be the good guy. Talk about double life at its peak. And now, another wild headline moment. Saddam Hussein was captured by U.S. forces in 2003. They found him hiding in a hole near Tikrit, beard long, face tired, totally unrecognizable. That moment ended decades of brutal rule in Iraq. A Mongolian woman was punished for adultery in July 1913. Her sentence? Death by starvation. No trial, no appeal. Just a wooden box. She was locked inside, alive, no room to stand. One small hole was left for air. That's her hand, reaching through the opening. But no one helped. She was left there to die, slowly, silently, alone. This is the first Coca-Cola bottle sold to the public, launched way back in 1894. Yep, over a century ago. But here's the wild part. Each bottle had about 3.5 grams of actual cocaine. Not a rumor. That was the real recipe. Back then, cocaine was legal and used in medicine. People drank it for energy, focus, and even headaches. Now here's another shocker. Tiny but deadly. Just 2 milligrams of fentanyl can kill most people. That's less than a sprinkle of sugar, and it's flooding the streets everywhere. One wrong dose? Game over. No second chance. April 2021, hospitals were still under strict COVID protocols. Patients were dying alone, with no family allowed by their side. So nurses got creative. They filled rubber gloves with warm water, placed them in patients' hands to mimic human touch. They called it the hand of God. It wasn't perfect, but it gave comfort. In 2001, a man walked free after 18 years in prison. He was wrongfully convicted of murder. No evidence, no justice. But here's the twist. His sister changed everything. She dropped out of high school, then went to law school to prove her brother was innocent. And she did it. She actually got him released. No legal team, no big names, just one determined sister. That's what you call unstoppable family loyalty. Check this out. Same man, 2 photos. Almost unrecognizable. That's Ukrainian President Viktor Yushchenko before and after being poisoned. In 2004, he was running against a pro-Russian candidate. Then boom, his face changed almost overnight. Turns out he was poisoned with dioxin, deadly stuff. Doctors said he barely survived. Russia was widely blamed, though Russians denied it. Yushchenko still ran, still won. Scarred, but unstoppable. His face told the whole story. He'd been through war. Ever wondered what a face looks like with zero muscles? Yeah, this is it. Just skin, bone, and empty space. No expressions, no movement, just blank. Kinda creepy, right? But also weirdly fascinating. Muscles do everything. Smile, frown, blink, talk. Without them, we're mannequins with skin. This was the world's first nuclear test after World War II, conducted in 1946 at a place called Bikini Atoll. Yeah, that's where the swimsuit name came from. The US wanted to see nuclear power in action. They dropped the bomb on a fleet of warships. The explosion? Massive. Water blasted over 500 feet high. Locals were forced to evacuate and never fully returned. A group of Holocaust survivors formed a secret revenge squad. Their plan? Kill 6 million Germans, eye for an eye. They called themselves Nakam, which means revenge, in Hebrew. This was right after World War II ended. They were angry, grieving, and deadly serious. The mission targeted German cities and SS officers. They even tried poisoning water supplies in POW camps. Seen this creepy Russian sleep experiment? The photo is not real. It's actually a Halloween prop, made by a company called Morbid Enterprises. Looks terrifying, right? That's the point. But nope, not a real human. No secret lab, no sleep experiment, just plastic and paint. Still, the myth went viral fast. People thought it was leaked proof. This Japanese man lost his wife in a tsunami 10 years ago, but he never gave up, still searching for her to this day. He's dived into the ocean more than 800 times. No crew, no fame, just love and determination. He believes she's still out there, waiting to be found. Every dive is a chance to bring her home. It's heartbreaking, but also incredibly powerful. A decade later, he's still diving, for closure, for love. This was the biggest horse to ever walk the earth. Meet Samson, a shy giant born in England in 1846. At his peak, he stood over 7 feet tall. That's taller than most NBA players, seriously. He weighed over 3,000 pounds. Samson was a Shire horse, a breed built for power. Despite his size, people said he was calm and gentle. They later renamed him Mammoth, and yeah, it fit. This is the loneliest house in the world. It sits alone on Elliday Island, Iceland. No neighbors, no roads, just the ocean and cliffs. People say it looks like something from a movie. No one really lives there full time. Some say it's a retreat, others say it's abandoned. Either way, it's isolation at its finest. Imagine waking up there, with zero distractions. These babies were left outside, on purpose. Moscow, 1958, cold, snowy, freezing. But nurses believed fresh air built strong immune systems. So yep, nap time happened outdoors, wrapped in blankets, lined up in rows, just sleeping peacefully. No heaters, no walls, just strollers and winter air. Sounds wild today, but it was normal back then. This wavy brick wall isn't just cool, it's smart. You'll spot these in parts of England. But here's the twist. It uses fewer bricks than a straight wall. It's all in the shape. Straight walls need 2 layers to stay strong. But wavy ones? 1 layer is enough. The curves act like built-in arch supports. Less material, more strength. Pretty genius, right? This patient has an extreme case of Raynaud's disease. It messes with blood flow in the fingers. Cold or stress makes the blood vessels tighten up. Fingers turn white, blue, even purple. Painful, numb, and honestly pretty scary to look at. It's not frostbite, but it can feel just as bad. In severe cases, tissue damage can actually happen. Doctors still don't fully understand why it happens. But one thing's clear, it's more than just cold hands. This Walgreens in Chicago has a wild backstory. It used to be a bank, vault and all. The vault holds vitamins instead of cash. Yep, the supplement aisle is inside an actual bank vault. Steel door, thick walls, totally real. From guarding money to guarding multivitamins, what a glow-up. Only in Chicago, right? This iceberg mysteriously flipped upside down. It looks unreal. Icebergs usually float with most of their mass underwater, but sometimes they roll or flip unexpectedly. When that happens, the smooth underside gets exposed. It looks shiny, blue, and totally alien. Scientists say melting or imbalance can cause the flip. It's rare, but insanely cool when it happens. Nature is showing off again. One day, researchers collected 1 million dead mosquitoes. Yeah, 1 million? The pile stood over 8 inches tall. That's more mosquitoes than you'll see in a lifetime. It came from a mosquito research center. Scientists study them to fight diseases like malaria and dengue. Gross, but oddly impressive. Proof that even bugs can stack up big. This image shows a thunderstorm from above the clouds. Yep, lightning looks totally different up here. It's not just flashes, it's massive electric webs in the sky. You're seeing the storm from a pilot's or satellite's view. It's beautiful, terrifying, and strangely peaceful all at once. Nature's power, caught from a whole new angle. Check out the Big Mac Glowdown. In 1980, it was bigger and way cheaper. Back then, a Big Mac cost around 60 cents. Fast forward to 2024, it's smaller and costs over $5. This building is shaped like a giant fish. It's the headquarters of India's National Fisheries Development Council. Yeah, they went full fish mode for real. Because if you love fish, why not be the fish? Buick made the first in-car touchscreen back in 1986. Yeah, touch controls in cars started way earlier than you think. It was called the Graphic Control Center. You could control AC, radio, and even check engine stats. Super futuristic for the time, but there was a problem. Drivers had to look down to use it. These are German child soldiers captured near the end of World War II. They were photographed by the U.S. Army's 6th Armored Division. Most were just teenagers, some barely older than 12, armed, uniformed, and thrown into battle. The Nazis were running out of men, so they turned to boys. This is the Space Shuttle Columbia. It broke apart during re-entry in 2003. All 7 astronauts on board were killed. A piece of foam hit the wing at launch. That small damage led to total destruction on the way back. The shuttle disintegrated over Texas just 16 minutes from landing. It was NASA's second major shuttle disaster. This is how John Edward Jones got trapped in Nutty Putty Cave. He was stuck upside down for 27 hours. The cave tunnel was only 10 inches wide. He thought he could squeeze through, but couldn't back out. Rescuers tried everything: ropes, pulleys, even drills. But nothing worked. The space was just too tight. His body couldn't take it. He died there, still trapped in the rock. This homeless man robbed a bank for just $1. Then he sat down and waited for the police. He wanted to get arrested on purpose, so he could get free medical care in prison. No getaway, no weapon, no real crime spree, just desperation and a broken system. He knew jail meant doctors, meds, and a bed. Medical care in prison sounds harsh, but sometimes it's life-saving. Now here's something wild on the beauty side. This woman is using a freckle removal machine. It's literally peeling her skin off to erase freckles, burning layers to get smooth, spotless skin. These machines are often unregulated and used at home. One mistake can cause permanent damage. Ken Allen wasn't your average orangutan. He was a legend. He escaped from the San Diego Zoo 3 times. Not in 2019, but back in the 1980s. His escapes? Intentional. He wasn't running away. He had plans. Ken wanted to visit other animals around the zoo. He even threw rocks at a rival orangutan he hated. Oh, and he loved taking photos with tourists. Zookeepers were amazed and slightly terrified. Smart, sneaky, and clearly holding a grudge. Ken Allen, the orangutan with a mission. This man was on death row for killing a young girl. He swore he didn't do it, but no one believed him. Then his lawyer found something insane. Footage from an HBO show saved his life. He was caught on camera at a baseball game, playing with his daughter the night the murder happened. Clear proof he couldn't have done it. This is Tupac, just moments after being shot 5 times. November 30th, 1994, inside a New York recording studio. Bleeding, angry, but but still alive. He looks straight at the camera and throws a shove-off gesture. No fear, no weakness, just raw attitude. That photo became legendary, Tupac refusing to back down. Even shot, he stayed defiant. Only Tupac could turn a shooting into a power move. This photo shows a powerful, unexpected moment from 1967. A U.S. Air Force lieutenant was captured in Vietnam. And standing over him? A young North Vietnamese soldier. Just a kid, but holding all the power. The contrast is striking. One trained pilot, one teenage fighter, roles suddenly reversed. It shows how brutal and unpredictable war really is. Queen Elizabeth had two cousins whom the public thought were dead. But surprise, they were very much alive. Both were mentally disabled and hidden away in a care home. No royal visits, no public mentions. They were listed as dead in official records. But they lived in secret for decades. The royal family never acknowledged them again. They died alone, completely forgotten by their own blood. A man vanished in Algeria back in 1996. For years, no one knew what happened. Then, 27 years later, he was found alive. Hiding underground? Nope. Held captive. In his neighbor's basement? Well, the neighbor lived life like nothing had happened, all while keeping a man trapped below. Unreal, right? It shocked the whole town. Imagine being missing for decades, right next door. This woman was arrested in 1961 for protesting. What was her crime? Supporting civil rights. She was white, and that confused the authorities. So confused, they tested her for mental illness. Because why else would a white woman care? That was the mindset back then. Helping others meant something had to be wrong with you. She wasn't sick, just brave. In the 1930s, China, this was a real punishment. A murderer locked in a cage, left to die slowly. No food, no water, no escape. Just exposure, thirst, and starvation. This wasn't rare in some areas. It was done in public, on purpose. Scare everyone watching. This is the first flower ever grown in space. Real petals, zero gravity. It happened on the International Space Station. No soil, no earth, just science and determination. Growing plants in space isn't just cool. It's key for long missions to Mars and beyond. Food, oxygen, mental health, it all starts with plants. And this little flower proved it's possible. This statue is made from 100,000 real knives. It's called the Angel of the Knives. Each blade was used, or meant to be. They were handed in or seized by police. Built in the UK as a violence memorial. Every knife tells a story, some heartbreaking, some deadly. It's art, but also a bold statement, a reminder of lives changed by one bad choice. This woman's rocking permanent wave curlers in 1940. This was peak beauty tech back then. It used heat, wires, and strong chemicals. All for those long-lasting curls everyone wanted. This wasn't just hair, it was fashion history. Painful? Maybe. Worth it? Totally in that era. Beauty school looked more like a sci-fi lab. But this style defined the 1940s glam look. In 1997, a hunter in Russia shot a tiger. Then he stole part of its kill. Big mistake. The tiger tracked him down, found his cabin. It waited there, patient, smart, and angry. When the hunter came home, it devoured him. This wasn't random. It was revenge. Experts say tigers remember and never forgive. This couple planted over 2 million trees. They did it in just 20 years. 2 people, an entire forest. They brought a dead land back to life. Birds, animals, and rivers returned. It's living proof. Small steps change everything. Who says 2 people can't fix the planet? In 1944, George Stinney Jr. was executed in South Carolina. He was just 14 years old, youngest person ever put to death in the U.S. that century. Decades later, his conviction was overturned. No fair trial, no real evidence. It took 70 years to admit the injustice. Too late for George, but not forgotten. In 2015, doctors said a boy was brain dead. They started pulling the plug, but his dad refused to believe it. He locked himself in with a gun. SWAT showed up. It got tense. Then his son squeezed his hand. He was alive. Dad saved his life by not giving up. This is Michelle, a skilled fisher from Seabrook, New Hampshire. She went out fishing alone off the coast of Hampton Beach. What did she catch? An absolutely massive bluefin tuna. The fish was 100.8 inches long. Yeah, that's over 8 feet. It weighed a jaw-dropping 601 pounds. That's heavier than a grand piano, by the way. She pulled it in with no help, just skill and grit. Reeling it in took serious strength, focus, and experience. The tuna put up a wild, intense fight. But Michelle didn't give up, not even for a second. This wasn't just any catch. It was the kind you never forget. A young Kuwaiti woman stands quietly, holding her goat with care. It's 1991, and the Gulf War rages on all around her. Buildings crumble, sirens wail, and smoke clouds the once clear skies. But in her arms rests peace, innocence, and gentle defiance. The goat isn't just an animal, it's a symbol of hope. Hope for survival, for return, for a future without fear. He was the first human to live without a heartbeat. Doctors replaced his heart with a pulseless artificial device. No thump, no rhythm, just steady, machine-driven circulation. His body adapted, and science pushed past the limits of biology. He walked, talked, and even laughed without a single beat. It was eerie but groundbreaking, a life without a pulse. A skilled photographer created a clever and enchanting visual art series. In it, he appears to steal the moon from the sky. Sometimes he holds it in a shopping bag like groceries. Other times, he traps it in a glass jar, glowing faintly. He uses props, angles, and perfect timing to trick the eye. The moon balances on ladders, fits into nets, and floats in buckets. In one frame, he pulls it down with a fishing rod. Each photo feels like a child's dream turned beautifully real. This is a human body completely filled with dangerous internal parasites. The condition developed after eating raw or undercooked pork for 10 years. Tiny worms entered the digestive system and slowly spread throughout the body. They reached the muscles, brain, and even the eyes over time. Symptoms included pain, seizures, fatigue, and gradual organ damage from the invasion. Doctors were shocked by the number and size of the parasites. This case is a terrifying warning about food safety and hygiene. A woman stands beside a massive sequoia tree in 1950. She looks incredibly small next to the tree's enormous trunk. The towering giant stretches high into the sky above her head. Sequoias are among the oldest and largest trees on Earth. Some grow over 300 feet tall and live thousands of years. Their thick bark protects them from fire, insects, and harsh weather. The woman's quiet stance highlights nature's overwhelming size and strength. In 2018, a watch was found in Hiroshima's bombed-out ruins. It was discovered buried deep in the silent rubble and ash. The watch had stopped ticking at exactly 8:15 in the morning. That was the moment the atomic bomb exploded above the city. Its frozen hands mark a time when everything changed forever. Buildings vanished, lives ended, and shadows burned into the ground. This small watch became a symbol of destruction and remembrance. It survived when nearly nothing else around it did. Now it sits in a museum behind quiet glass walls, a reminder of the cost of war and nuclear fire. It doesn't tick, but it speaks louder than words ever could. In 1945, a full human nervous system was placed on display. It had been carefully dissected by two skilled medical students. They started the work back in the year 1925. The entire process took more than 1,500 patient working hours. Each nerve was separated, cleaned, and laid out with precision. The result was delicate, complex, and incredibly rare to see. Only 4 complete human nervous systems exist in the entire world. This is the largest human skull ever discovered by archaeologists. It was found buried deep beneath an ancient ceremonial burial site. The skull's size shocked researchers and challenged existing evolutionary theories. Measuring significantly larger than modern human skulls, it raised many questions. Some believed it belonged to a now extinct or unknown human species. Others speculated deformities or rare genetic conditions as the possible cause. This is Hans-Georg Henke, a 16-year-old German soldier in 1945. He was captured by the 9th U.S. Army in Germany in April. His tear-streaked face became one of World War II's most haunting images. Hans had just lost his parents and faced the collapse of Germany. He joined the Luftwaffe to survive, but was thrust into chaos. The emotional weight of war broke him as Allied troops advanced. He stood alone, frightened, with no idea of what came next. A photographer captured his moment of fear, exhaustion, and surrender. The image spread widely, symbolizing the loss of innocence in war. Hans's story reminds us of the human cost behind every conflict. The Jungus Road, also known as the Road of Death, is infamous. It was constructed in the 1930s by Paraguayan prisoners under harsh conditions. This treacherous route cuts through remote mountains with barely any safety barriers. Heavy rains often turn the narrow path into a deadly muddy slide. Fog and falling rocks add to the dangers travelers must constantly face. The road connects remote regions, making it essential despite its deadly reputation. Drivers must navigate sharp turns and steep cliffs with great caution. A single mistake can send vehicles plummeting into the valley below. In Modena, Italy, in 1959, Jenny Joseph posed for a photo. She was 28 years old at the time of this moment. Her calm expression and elegant posture captured quiet strength and beauty. The image became one of the most iconic of the 20th century. These children crossed a river using a pulley system every morning. The journey was dangerous, yet they remained determined to reach school. A metal basket hung from a cable stretched tightly across the river. Each child would climb in carefully, holding their bags close with care. In January 2007, President Putin met with German Chancellor Angela Merkel. He brought his black Labrador, named Coney, into the official meeting room. Merkel is known to have a long-standing fear of large dogs. The dog calmly sat nearby while cameras flashed and tensions quietly rose. Putin reportedly watched Merkel closely as she noticed the animal beside her. Some interpreted his gesture as intimidation or psychological strategy during negotiations. In 1945, a man named Tsutomu Yamaguchi survived both atomic bombings. He was in Hiroshima on August 6th when the first bomb exploded. Badly burned, he crawled to a shelter and stayed there overnight. Despite his injuries, he took a morning train to Nagasaki for work. On August 9th, he was caught in the second atomic explosion there. Miraculously, he survived again, injured but alive, against all imaginable odds. Yamaguchi became the only officially recognized survivor of both nuclear attacks. He later spoke out against nuclear weapons and advocated for peace worldwide. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on anything.